I'm Boba Fett. Follow me, friend.
I see why they call you the best bounty hunter in the galaxy.
You can't beat me. I'm Boba Fett. I'm the greatest bounty hunter ever. Oh, yeah. Didn't see that one coming, did you? I was flying around with my jetpack, just smoking rebels with my laser. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Han Solo was all, hey, wait. And I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for this for a long time, Solo. Ba-bang. Oh, yes. A little rope-a-dope, huh? I was left, right. Oh, down goes Solo. The big bad Wookiee be growling in hell now. I even put one between Skywalker's eyes, right between those pretty baby blues. But then Jabba the Hutt was all, oh no, this guy's too badass, man. So then 80 Jedi showed up. I took out about 67 of them. Oh, you thought I was over there, but guess what? Over here. Well, let me just take this bad boy off. Oh, he's even better looking without the helmet.
Hello and welcome to Fennec and Fett-ish, a podcast about the Disney Plus original series, The Book of Boba Fett, the Book of Tatooine, the Book of Grogu and Luke Skywalker and the Mandalorian and Ahsoka and spoiler Cad Bane and all the other people that we saw this week. And I'm Travis Fishburne.
I am Alex Brunel.
I'm Dustin Meadows.
And
welcome.
You want to address that? I'll talk for a sec. I will lead off with this episode was bananas, and makes me
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
and further calls into question the title of the show altogether. But there was a news report that I saw months ago that an insider said to really expect Mandalorian season 2.5 and not really a separate thing, which makes sense. It's just there's so many weird choices being made, but I like all of the stuff that we're seeing, I guess. But this episode, damn, Filoni really delivering some fantastic moments. Unparalleled use of upsettingly accurate technology. Lots of really cute, genuine emotion. I don't know. This episode was great. I wanted to rewatch it. I didn't get a chance to. I look forward to doing so. Probably rewatching the last 3 at some point. Travis, how is your audio situation?
That was pretty wizard.
Okay, so if you heard that, then it means it's working. All right.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I know. My audio is fixed, and yeah, this was a great episode. It was strange, I would say, to jump from everything that it does, and we get to see Boba Fett for a minute, and he doesn't say anything. And
I think it's less than a minute.
Yeah,
it's he's on screen for seconds.
He just nods.
He does nod.
That's all you
he's
need.
participating.
Yeah, Dustin, what did you think?
Well, I mean, spoiler alert, this episode had me from the first 10 seconds when I saw the familiar hips of Timothy Oliphant step into frame. God, that opening scene. Yeah, I know we're at a critical mass and oversaturated with content, blah, blah, blah. Give me Justified in space. I don't care. I'll take it. There was so much great stuff in this episode, and I'm echoing what Alex said earlier. It's kind of weird that they're slamming all this other stuff in, when they should be wrapping up the thread that they started earlier in the season, and I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of resolution in the final episode this week. But also, oh my god, so stoked Cobb Vanth is back again. And I don't even care about Cad Bane, but I saw the silhouette, I was like, is that Cad Bane? And then when he walked in, chills, like so good. Everything was great. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say it until I'm in my grave, most likely. Rip off Westerns and samurai stuff. That's the best Star Wars gets most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scene in the beginning, the think it through, that bit,
That was
and then
so good. That was so
phenomenal.
tense, so effective.
And then the sort of Mexican standoff towards the end with the deputy Vanth and Cad Bane.
Deputy Scott.
Yeah, straight up Leone like vibes in both of those scenes. Like just the pacing of it, the cutting of it done very, very well. Like I would love to get Mandalorian definitely dipped its toes heavily into Western tropes, but there's a lot of other stuff that pulls you out of it. Like I would watch a show that's just Cobb Vanth going around and just like drawing down on people in desert towns. Like it's great.
Agree.
Yeah.
I do wanna throw out one really big complaint I have about this episode and show. Not really big. It doesn't affect anything, which is part of the complaint. That I just want to get out of the way now because I would love to spend the rest of this episode just blowing this episode. And that was the death of Gartha Whip. Is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah, Garsa Whip.
Garsa Whip. Why was this character stunt casted? Why did Jennifer Beals do this thing? Was there ever anything more to this character? Is she really just dead? And that was all she did was have a conversation with Chrysanthemum that did not go her way and look fancy a few times in other episodes? Like,
I don't think she's dead.
You think?
I think somehow she probably survived. Because as explosions go, the cantina was still intact, so I guess if you could call an explosion mild, but I could see her surviving somehow, the same way that I think it's obvious that Cobb Vanth is not dead too.
Oh no.
Yeah, he pretty obviously got shot in the shoulder, I think.
Yeah, he
did. My fiance said so. I was like, no, they clearly winged him. Like, deputy, 3 to the chest, he's done. But
yeah, they made sure you understood that the deputy Scott was destroyed
so many times,
and everyone ran out to take care of Cobb Vanth, and nobody cared at all about the deputy.
But it was like, no, foregone conclusion, that guy's dead.
Yeah, it's weird, Alex. You said you had a complaint, but it was not the same complaint that I had, which is that we did not get to see Cobb Vanth's hog.
When they were checking him for life at the end and trying to treat him, just make sure that the package is intact.
Yeah, is that not where you check for a pulse in space?
Fair.
That's where the back to patch goes.
Well, Star Wars just has to get sexier. That's all there is to it.
I mean, they're well on their way. They keep bringing Timmy O back. Not a dry seat in the house.
All right, Trav, why don't you take us through the episode?
Cool. Yeah. So, speaking of Timmy O, that's what we start off with is Cobb Vanth facing off against the Pikes. He tells them to get on their way, and they leave the spice, and he just lets it all go.
The spice looked a lot like the spice itself, and I understand this original spice influence was Dune and all this stuff, but it really looks like
the Dune spice. Yeah,
it really looks like what is the name of it that I can't remember now. Anyway, but yeah, the spice, the sparkly. It was very cool. I liked it.
Yeah, a great scene.
It also,
the scene overall amazing.
Yeah. This just came to me now, thinking about that shot of him kicking it over and it blowing in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of the end of Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's true. And then we abandon that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I didn't care
for. We find Mando stumbling upon R2-D2 in Luke's temple being built.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys also just know this was R2 as soon as you saw the little
Oh,
little
yeah.
mini satellite.
For sure. Yes, exactly.
I just assumed it was R2 from the jump.
Yeah, like, oh man.
Well, it's the same reveal that they used to show him in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, okay.
It
I
is.
did not miss that. See, I was still just looking at the screen like, where'd Timothy Oliphant go? I was distracted.
I love these spider droids. These things are so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love I loved the silent thing of Din having to figure out like, oh, they just built me a bench and I have to go here for an indeterminate amount of time. Okay.
Mm-hmm. R2 just shuts himself off again, which is a thing in this show where droids just shut themselves down when they don't want to deal with something.
Yep.
They have what every anxious millennial wishes they had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got that. You could just faint on the
True.
spot.
True.
Pretend to collapse.
Humans do have that option.
Yep. Just throw your hand up over your forehead and act like you're very put upon. And then just drop to the floor.
That'll always work.
Which this scene is also kind of like season 1 Mando's nightmare of just being on this planet surrounded by nothing but droids.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, where he's like really on the other side of his anti-droid racism.
Oh God, I forgot about. What was Mando season 1? 8 years ago? 10 years? I've lost track of all time.
Yeah, no, it is a really big flip. It is interesting, that it is such a non-issue at this point that it's like not even referenced that he was ever not okay with droids. Because just like these last 2 episodes have been like really heavy on his interaction and
it is brought up in the last episode.
Was it?
The whole reason why Peli takes the droid port out of the starfighter.
Oh right, yeah,
Oh.
that's right.
I mean,
Okay,
it's also
touche.
to set up a spot for
It's for
Grogu to go, but
it's for Grogu.
Mhm.
That is the most transparent telegraph of all time.
It's very transparent. You can see right in there.
Yep.
And bringing
Maybe
it back
it's
to... Oh, sorry.
Maybe it's for Max Rebo.
Oh,
That'd be great.
Be very snug.
I'm just going to believe that Max Rebo, yes, the little
This
Max
is,
Rebo toy.
this used to be Alex's.
Yeah, that used to be mine.
Oh, nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm glad that
Prayers
got
for
made.
Max.
He's still in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
I
I just assumed Max Rebo was taking a smoke break. He was having a jizz cigarette.
But some bit definitely got
Interpret
blasted.
that as you will.
Yeah, we don't have to dwell on that.
Oh yeah, the guy playing Jizz Flute definitely dead.
Jizz Flute. I think that was that finally a clue horn? Was he playing a clue horn?
I didn't notice. It could have been a clue horn.
It was a horn.
Mhm.
Or is the clue horn the one that looks like a weird box French horn thing, or is the clue horn the one that's like a clarinet kind of?
The clue horn's like the clarinet thing.
Okay, yeah, it was that.
Yep, so that's what it was.
Do you think in the Star Wars universe there's a very influential album of jizz music called The Shape of Jizz to Come? Because there should be.
Yes,
This is
I
very
do.
possible.
I wonder how we could subliminally, like how that could ever get canonized. Like if you could befriend one of the Star Wars comic book artists and they could slip that in there somewhere, but just like somehow canonize The Shape of Jizz to Come.
I'm just gonna walk. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna walk around Burbank until I see Jon Favreau and tackle him to the ground and
That's it.
just keep yelling at him to do it.
Perfect.
Also, let me be Cobb Vance's new deputy.
This is great. I think that Salacious Crumb should be recast with Max Rebo in the future.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Downscale him and just have him play smooth jizz while sitting on people's shoulders or laps. Anyway,
All right, so we were at the
Mando hangs out for
don't
a
know
while.
what this planet is called, but yeah, it's the same planet that we see in the Last Jedi flashback
Right.
of the temple that is being burned.
And it is this temple that is being built. This whole thing is so tragic.
Mm-hmm.
This whole, like, you know, Ahsoka coming into it, and she has so much hope. This is where all the Jedi are going to be trained. This is where he will be trained. Blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, that's so nice. And then it's just like, oh yeah, that went well.
This is where we're going to see a whole bunch of story unfold that we'll never show you on screen, but we'll talk about it a lot.
Right. Because like just the way the sequels are kind of trounces like a Jedi Academy TV show, right? Like that would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that'd be great. Yeah.
But yeah, but you know, then I would want a human being playing Luke at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were definitely pushing the limit of how much they could get away with it this episode.
Yeah, so Ahsoka showed up before Luke, or Luke showed up before Ahsoka?
No, we see Luke first.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about Luke then.
Like, so yeah, we see Luke training Grogu.
Yeah.
But right off the bat with me, I'm like, oh wow, this Luke looks so much better than the other one.
Yeah.
And then he was speaking. I'm like, wow, he sounds just like him. And then he kept speaking. I'm like, is there any range to this voice, or is it all the same?
Yeah.
And it became clear that that's what was going on.
Yeah.
So I really loved the way he looked this time, but it was the kind of the monotone, no inflection in anything that was being said that kind of eventually got to me.
Yeah, that was a huge bummer. Is it true? I was reading somewhere they used like an AI to generate that or something.
Yeah,
is that true?
So it's the same thing that they did, so that they used for the Mando season finale, which is this guy. I forget the fellow's name, but a person in the Lucasfilm sound department has the entire library of everything that Mark Hamill like ever recorded for Star Wars. So he took basically all of the clean ADR from Empire and Jedi. There is an audiobook that he narrated. There were the radio dramatizations of two of them that he was in. He got all of that, and that like collection of Mark Hamill's voice between 1980 and 1983 is the base of what we're hearing. So it is like AI generated in that way, which also accounts for the total lack of intonation.
Yeah.
Which is the last leap it has to make. Like visually, it's amazing. Like I was very surprised. I thought we were going to get a couple minutes on par with what we got in Mandalorian. And if you watch the scene, it started out that way. Like Luke only says a couple things and they're short phrases.
Mm-hmm.
You never linger on his face too much. Mostly when you hear him, it's not on his face, so you can't like criticize the lip sync or the facial movements or anything. And like it seemed to me like they were like gonna just play around it for a scene or two and then let it be. I did not expect the episode to dwell with this character for like 25 minutes or something.
No.
Yeah,
I think Luke had more. I mean, I'd have to check this, but it almost feels like Luke had more dialogue in this episode than the entire sequel trilogy.
Yes, that very well may be true.
Yeah.
And the dialogue is very good, and I liked it a lot. I just wish that, you know, like Mark Hamill is credited. I would be very curious to know if he set foot on set for this. We know it's not his voice. I would love them to figure out some way to use his actual voice in this process.
Yeah, that's what surprised me. Is like he's a very capable voice actor. I'm sure he can sound like he did 40 years ago or closer to it than this.
Yeah, I mean, he's older and gravelly, but they have...
like use his voice and do something with it to bring it back.
Yeah, like if they can create this from pre-recorded dialogue, they should be able to... Like if Melodyne software can break apart the individual notes in a chord in a recorded piece of music, they can and change the intonation of a voice. Like they can do that to Mark Hamill's voice.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that was one of my only big gripes with this, because like you said, like the dialogue he has is good. It doesn't land the way it should because it's so there's no inflection, there's no variation at all.
But that being said, man, these scenes, like visually, it's so good. They obviously put the deepfake fellow that they hired that showed him up on YouTube after the season finale. He's obviously like doing his work in the bowels of ILM now, and paid off great. I thought the face looked fantastic. These scenes are so good. I love Luke's training here, and
it's an insane thing to like be watching it and you're like, well, this is very surreal. I never thought actually see this, especially after the sequel trilogy. I'm like, well, that was our chance to see something like that. And I never thought I would, but like to actually see this era of Luke Skywalker doing these kinds of things is weird.
And I feel like it's even a little bit kind of hidden in this show. Like, you know, there's probably people who just skipped this show because they're like, nah, you know. I don't think it has the same audience that The Mandalorian has, but this is like some of the biggest Star Wars lore storytelling, like even bigger than a lot of stuff in the sequels. This is like more what we care about than that.
Yeah, that's why I'm really surprised. Like, I can understand people being hesitant based on the first episode or two, because I think the storytelling is uneven. I don't think those first couple episodes are laid out the best possible way that they could be. So I can understand that, but especially with these last two episodes, like people are still just like, oh, well, now they're just trotting out all this other stuff. It's like, it's just proof that you can't please a majority of Star Wars fans no matter what you do. So who cares? Just make a good show. And I think they're doing that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But it is like very clear watching this. It's like, oh, this is very much required viewing if you're watching The Mandalorian. This is season 2.5.
Absolutely.
Like you have to watch this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, and I know I've said this on the podcast before, but like seeing stuff like this makes me want to go back and watch like Clone Wars and Rebels and all that other stuff that kind of leads up into this. So like, yeah, I mean, if people aren't on board with this, then they're just not going to be on board with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be on board with Star Wars and they're just going to piss and moan about it constantly, which is what they do.
That's more likely what's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, like,
I think that's
I love
death taxes and that are the only guarantees in life.
Complaining about Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, I love this. I'll take more computer Luke, because like the thing the internet screamed about the first time was Luke's face looks weird, and then they fixed that, and now the internet is screaming about Luke's voice is weird. So you better believe the next time this guy shows up on screen, they're gonna have fixed that, and we're gonna like have something else to complain about.
And by then, Favreau's just invented a time machine and gone back to the 80s and got Mark Hamill.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be fantastic. I mean, if I thought anyone could build a time machine, it would be Favreau and Filoni, so.
This point, yeah. And there's so many great little training moments in this. Grogu training with the remote. That's super fun. Luke enticing him to try to learn how to use the Force by levitating frogs.
Yeah.
You know, like
he's got like this look of wonder on his face, and for a very brief moment I thought, is Luke gonna just hold all these frogs up and just let Grogu go to town eating all of them?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a good frog genocide.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was gonna just get to chow down, have a big old frog party.
I feel like Star Wars does a really good job of like making creatures that are clearly just a space version of what exists in the real world, but they always go like a step further with it. You know, like banthas are like mammoths or some kind of pachyderm, but there's a lot more effort put in them. And this is like, what if these were like regular frogs, but they only had one eye? Yeah, there we go. That's the change.
Yeah, they do a lot of that. Well, I mean, we had Frog Lady. Remember Frog Lady?
Yeah.
She was only Frog Lady, right? She never got a name.
No, never. No, not a
Like
name.
her-
That's weird.
She got a toy, right? And it was Frog Lady.
Yeah.
Did that happen? Okay.
Yeah. But Frog Lady was also super cool.
Yeah, I love Frog Lady.
Yeah.
Also, with the training montage, like they are tying it into the prequels by he's teaching Grogu to jump and do the flips that we see Yoda doing in in episode 2 and 3.
Yeah. And
So you can be a pinball.
Mm-hmm.
and Luke casually like bouncing him along as they walked so that he could keep up.
That was so great.
It was such a nice touch. It was so funny. That felt very much like an Irvin Kershner kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of touch that Kirsch brought to Empire. I felt like that kind of thing was nice.
It was like a very roundabout way of pushing a child on a swing.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I thought it was adorable.
Yeah, and if you have kids, you're like, oh, that'd be so nice to like feel like, come on, just the.
Yeah, but here in the real world, we have to physically throw them over our shoulder like a sack of potatoes. Do not recommend. 0 stars.
Oh, Luke also mind melds with Grogu here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Luke mind melds with Grogu here, and I'm gonna put up this picture of this clone trooper. It occurred to me as we were seeing these clone troopers that I feel like this is the first time we've seen live action photographed clone troopers. Which
Now you said that, Alex. I've watched the episode again, and
they may be computers, right?
I think they are CG still.
They're just much better computers.
Yes, because if you look really closely at the glove, like that glove looks like a CG glove.
This does. Like this frame looks animated. You are right. But like to me, in a couple of those shots, it was like, oh, damn. Because like they never looked like they were actually present in the prequels. Like the animation on those things was just like I don't know. I
think just the technology is caught up more to where it looks more photorealistic, whereas back then,
which took literally 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like Attack of the Clones is 20 years old in 2022, and so it took literally 20 years. So Attack of the Clones is as old this year as Star Wars was when the special editions came out.
I still don't know why, like the decision to make all the clone trooper CG. I know that like physically you cannot make like clone trooper armor that really looks the way they do in those movies because, you know, it's just an impossibility.
Yeah.
Based on the physics of life and stuff. But I just don't understand why George did that. And it's really weird and awkward. And some scenes in episode 3 where you see Tamora Morrison's face like pasted on all these CG bodies.
Yeah. That was always very weird. Like none of that ever felt. This isn't a prequel complaining episode.
No.
We're here to talk about this episode. But yeah, if we ever did a prequel review series of specials, that would go on too long and it's already been done. So we shouldn't do that. But this episode's good. What else about this whole thing up here?
I will say that particular scene was a big shocker to my son, who I watch like the Mandalorian and Boba Fett episodes with.
Okay.
And he's seen every Star Wars movie except for Rogue One and Revenge of the Sith due to some just like dark thematic elements that are in each of those movies.
Sure.
And so, and he's seen like a bunch of Clone Wars and stuff. And not the bad. He doesn't know like Revenge of the Sith. He doesn't know the plot of that movie. So during this flashback, he's like, what is going on? Like, what is this? Like, he's like, those are clone troopers, right? I'm like, oh yeah. I forgot that this would have been a thing.
So is he not seen Clone Troopers season 7?
No, he's not caught up.
Okay.
Like to that point.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's got to be a heck of a thing to find out Order 66 happened this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oof.
In spite of the CG, I did really like that we got to see this again.
Oh yeah, no, this was great.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. And yeah, it's one of those moments that like you kind of get chills watching it. It's just like, oh, this is from one of the bad Star Wars movies, but like there's a little more weight to it now.
Yeah, which is one of the things Filoni is best at doing in this context. And
now that we've opened that door, well, I mean, I would assume we're going to get more of these little flashbacks with Grogu, where we get a little more of the story as to how he was, rescued from that very perilous situation.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Him and the redhead from Fallen Order. Whose name I'm
Cal
blanking on.
Kestis.
Yeah, Cal Kestis.
Yeah. Can't remember what the other thing I was going to say was. Oh, well.
Cool. And then we get the scene where Ahsoka shows up and talks to Mando.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is another one where they improved some visual aspects. I know that one of my, little complaints about the Ahsoka from The Mandalorian was, I don't know if it's still called Laku on a Togrutan, like it is on a Twi'lek, but they're kind of short. And these ones are a little bit longer.
Were
They're
they?
a little bit more, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good.
It seemed that way to me. And then I went back and I looked at the Mandalorian episode. I'm like, no, they definitely are. So
yeah,
again,
she looked great.
Listening to the internet screaming.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, she looked great. That got me excited all over again for Ahsoka coming out. Is that the next show or is Andor the next show? I can't remember.
As far as like what is on the release docket,
Yeah.
I think Kenobi is really the next one.
Oh, that's right. It's Kenobi.
Mm-hmm. And then Andor, and then I would say Ahsoka.
That makes sense.
I don't
We're probably
know
going to get all
I'm
that
guessing.
before we see season 3 of Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. True.
Although I wouldn't be surprised to see Mando coming into Ahsoka. This is a whole different conversation, but
Synergy, baby.
Mm-hmm.
well, it's like they're doing, they're kind of making their Avengers, right? Like,
oh yeah,
they're doing that whole, interconnected world building thing that the first, handful of Marvel movies did before that first Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
That we, know it, was just like the backdoor. It was all a backdoor pilot. But yeah, so I'm for it. But I would love it to get more refined than it's being presented in this show.
Yeah.
So then, Ahsoka offers to give the gift to Grogu instead of Mando, and he has to leave without seeing him. Because if he sees him, it'll only make things more difficult.
Angela was like bawling her eyes out this entire episode.
On my
so
rewatch, when Grogu's watching the Mandalorian ship fly away, I was like, oh, he knows it's him.
Totally knows it's him. It was so sad.
Yeah, hit me a lot harder the second watch.
Such a sad scene. And like Din is so like lost now. He's like, but I came all this way. Like he's, almost dropped all pretense that he brings with him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. And this does bring up something that I find interesting, because it's something that I thought was going to be kind of dropped in this era of Luke training Jedi and Luke's vision of how to be a Jedi and how to train. And that's this whole attachment thing, which was so forbidden. And it was, heavily, that was a big theme in the prequels of like, you can't have all these attachments as a Jedi. But to me, like the original trilogy and like what Luke does in Return of the Jedi is kind of the antithesis of that, where he's like embracing his attachments and the father-son love and bond, and going against what Obi-Wan and Yoda are telling him like he's going to do. And so I thought there was going to be something. So when he like leaned into the whole like that same dogma. I'm like, this isn't the Luke that I thought we were gonna get.
Yeah, that was a bit surprising.
The Emperor literally says to him in Jedi, like Luke says, your overconfidence is your weakness. He says, your faith in your friends is yours. It's like,
Yeah.
no, his faith, like, that's part of what helps them pull off the whole thing. It's what wins the war.
Mm-hmm.
And, boy, George Lucas really painted everybody into a corner when he had Obi-Wan say only a Sith deals in absolutes, huh? Because that was all I could think of at the end. I was like, you're literally just doing what Obi-Wan said Siths only do. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. And I wonder if that will change based on Grogu. Like, I wonder if that's an approach Luke is taking because he's unsure of, like, because he hasn't trained a Jedi before, right? Like, he hasn't trained Leia yet here.
No, Ahsoka says that, Grogu will be the first student here.
Which also, you know, in the sequel trilogy, you know, if it's not being retconned, then Leia was Luke's first student. So, like, Grogu, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious that Grogu's going to go with Mando, and we're going to have, we're not making, he makes too much money, and like,
that would be the ballsiest move for them to ever do is finally have the scene where they get Adam Driver to kill Baby Yoda.
That would be unbelievable.
I'd say they already torpedoed the Razor Crest. I don't know if they're going to go that far.
But yeah, and then, you know, maybe maybe just Luke at this point in his teaching, or he's not really sure of how to go about this, so he just takes the classical approach, even though, like, he kind of knew better. I mean, like, that is a thing that, you know, despite Luke doing a lot of great stuff, we also know that Luke makes, like, kind of the wrong choice more than once.
Yeah.
At crucial moments. So could be part of that.
Yeah.
But that is something that they have to then address. I agree with that, at least.
Yep.
Huh?
All right. And then we get that scene between Ahsoka and Luke, where she tells him that he's so much like his father.
Yeah.
That's nice. You know, it's interesting that we get to see all this other stuff, which is, you know, kind of all lore and fan servicey and beautiful and nice in its own way. And the thing that, like, you know, the ultimate fan service thing that so many people want to see is, like, the scene of Ahsoka and Luke talking about Anakin. Like, we want to see that scene. Do we feel like we're going to get that scene? Maybe we get that scene in Ahsoka? Like, I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
And then they already have Hayden Christensen back. They bring him in as a Force ghost, and they all have, like, a conversation together.
Whoa.
Yeah. What was my father like? Oh, hated Sand, that guy. Couldn't stand it.
I can imagine them, bringing in Hayden Christensen for the body, and then the voice is Matt Lanter.
That'd be interesting.
I mean, they already did it. They did it with Darth Maul.
Yeah, that's true.
And we'll get it with I mean, we're gonna get to it, but with Cad Bane, we get the same voice actor. We get Corey Burton voicing Cad Bane again. Yeah. So then we got Mando. He returns to Tatooine. He stumbles in on a meeting. We finally see Boba. And that was it. That was all Boba we did.
Yep. Hi, Boba. Bye, Boba.
Cool. Am I back? Okay, great.
Yes.
Sorry, my recording device crashed. That was unfortunate. So, good thing I was recording the backup. Yeah, that survived. Nice.
And then he goes to meet Cobb Vanth. Talk about getting some foot soldiers. On the way there, we see a sandcrawler with the giant crate dragon skull on it.
Yep.
Very cool imagery. Good relations with these Jawas he has.
Mm-hmm. So in the conversation he has with Cobb Vanth, It's revealed that Mos Pelgo is now going under by the name Freetown.
Yeah.
Much easier to say than Mos Pelgo.
Mhm. Yeah. Mos
We're informed
Pelgo.
by W. Earl Brown reprising his role.
Yeah. But this is like not a retcon, but this is to fit into the Aftermath books because that is the name of the town that Cobb Vanth is from in those books.
Ah.
So this is their way of making that happen.
Nice.
So then we get the scene where the mysterious blue-skinned alien shows up, and they've got the showdown.
So good. Yeah, and I knew that the character existed. I'd never given him a close look at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that he's also very much done up like Lee Van Cleef in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like his attire's so good. Like and then the reveal when he finally like lifts up his head and you see his eyes for the first time. Like this whole scene is stupid good.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's my favorite thing from the Star Wars TV stuff overall, but it is easily my favorite thing that has happened this season.
Mm-hmm.
Is that scene.
Yeah, I was very surprised at how much I loved this scene because I didn't really care about Cad Bane in Clone Wars. Travis, am I wrong in my characterization of that like that he was underused or not really used?
I feel like he was
potential.
used a good amount. I
feel like I don't feel like he was ever used to his full villainous evil potential.
I could see that, but I mean, this is a character I was really drawn to from the moment he made his debut at the end of season 1 of the Clone Wars. The finale is when he shows up. And I remember I'm like, wow, this character is very exciting for this show. Still when the show is finding its feet. And I'm like, oh, this is a great addition to this show. And I'm looking forward to seeing more from him. And we did see more from him. But I'm glad to see them finally bringing him into the fold here. And it makes perfect sense to put him up against Cobb Vanth in this episode. It's like, if you're going to bring him in, this is the character to put him up against and the way to show him, being a badass and being able to outdraw Cobb Vanth. But at the same time, as you said, it's kind of like a three-way. Like Cobb Vanth was a little distracted with Deputy Scott there. If it had been one-on-one, who knows what it had been. But
yeah. Because he drew down the 3 pikes without any trouble.
Yeah.
Also, this is just a side note. It just popped into my head again. I know I made the justified comment earlier. Mm-hmm. Timothy Oliphant, he carries his hand to the side as Cobb Vanth the same way that Raylan does.
Yes. I noticed that when he was approaching the pikes. I'm like, he's got the same mannerism going on.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's just always there. It's like letting people know that he's ready to go, but like not going for it yet. Yeah, it's so good. Like, give me a Cobb Vanth series.
Rangers
and
of
we're getting a new season of Justified at least.
Yeah, I am very pumped for that. And then give me Brendan Fraser as Dash Rendar, even though it's 20 years too late.
I mean, that could still happen. Based on just what they've been doing.
Yeah,
Dash Rendar could very much come back.
Yeah.
Dash Rendar, but I am doubtful that it'll be Brendan Fraser.
Has Shizor been recanonized yet?
Not Shizor.
But Black Sun.
Black Sun, it's in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Oh, and that species is recanonized.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. That's right. Maybe Brendan Fraser could play Prince Shizor.
Dash Rendar, go to hell.
No, he'll play Dash Rendar. Who Bill Skarsgård will play Shizor.
Ooh, Bill Skarsgård would be good.
That'd be gross. Be great.
Can we get like a Nathan Fillion as Dash Rendar?
I'd buy that too. Let's just have a casting session for Dash Rendar.
Let's do it.
Build a set. Actually, we'll just we'll do an Airheads kind of situation, but at Smuggler's Run in Disneyland. So we'll just take over the waiting room at Smuggler's Run Airhead style, and in our list of demands will be to deliver us people like Nathan Fillion and Brendan Fraser, so that
the
we can...
irony of getting Brendan Fraser into a situation like that.
Yes. Life imitating art, imitating life. Whatever. Also on the list of demands, not as Das Rendar, but put Alexander Skarsgård in a Star War.
Yeah, let's do that too. I'm for it. Let's
give
put
me
that...
Eric Northman in a Star War.
Eric Northman in a Star War. Naked pictures of B. Arthur.
We're already getting Stellan Skarsgård. He's going to be in Andor.
Let's just get all the Skarsgårds and Starsguards and all the Stards in one room and have them all try to audition for the same character.
Oh man!
Or play a big family.
You know who'd also be good as Dash Rendar? David Arquette.
Ooh,
I'd watch that movie. Let's take him too.
I want him to get so many more dramatic offers based solely on his performance in the last Scream movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid good.
Is he that good? I still haven't seen the movie. Is he that good?
He's so good in it.
Yeah, he is. I would say give us ready to Rumble. Give it the Coming to America title.
Yes.
Wow.
And bring back Joey Pantoliano's character.
Yeah.
Joey Pants. What's Joey Pants been up to?
Not
Star Wars.
No, he was in the Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, yeah. Reprising that girl. Bound 2. I'm sure somebody's pushing for it.
The Wachowskis.
Yep.
Oh, wow. That would be... The thing is, like, I would not even, at this point in our culture, I wouldn't even be surprised if I read a headline saying that Lana was developing Bound 2 with Tilly and Gina Gershon. You know?
Why not?
It would just be like, oh, yeah, this is our timeline.
That's it. I'm sure the Chucky residuals are taking good enough care of Jennifer Tilly.
I'm sure.
Well, and she was in the show, I think.
Yeah,
too,
I was gonna say, is she in the new show?
Yeah, she
which
voices,
I need to watch.
She voices the lady bride.
Tiffany,
thank you.
Yeah.
Been a minute since I've seen those movies.
Yeah, the Chucky movies got surprisingly good with the last. Like, I mean, I enjoyed the first couple, but the last few were surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's a whole other podcast. So Bride of and Seed of, I thought were both great. I never saw Cult of, but I heard good things.
Yeah, Cult and Curse are both good times.
Oh yeah, Curse. I forgot about Curse.
And Fiona Dora.
Speaking of people who voiced Chucky, Mark Hamill, who was in this episode, bringing it back full circle.
Thank you.
Go. Oh yes, in the remake. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was good. I like the remake. Wasn't bad.
Oh, that's the creepiest Chucky doll is that remake one.
Oh yeah, terrifying.
It's the buddy doll, not he is. Still
Is it worth watching? I
would say watch.
I just avoided it. Okay,
it's worth a watch. I dug it. I think they updated it and did about as much with it as they could, and still made it enjoyable.
Okay, and it stands apart from like what Don Mancini took with the Chucky franchise.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I think it definitely stands on its own. Oh my God! How Brad Dourif? Give us Brad Dourif in a Star Wars. Come on.
Yeah. Why haven't we seen
Everyone
Brad Dourif in a
Deadwood.
cantina with like ridges on his forehead or some like nose appliance or some like minor alien tweakage?
No disrespect to David Pasquesi. Why wasn't Brad Dourif
he would have been so
the whatever good. To the Mock Shies?
Oh my God! I mean, that's perfect because like I mean, when I think of Brad Dourif, apart from Chucky. I also think of him in Lord of the Rings as
Grima Wormtongue.
And Wormtongue to me, and that makes me think of Bib Fortuna. Yeah. And then, that would have been so perfect.
He plays a very similar kind of character in Lynch's Dune, actually. He's I can't remember his name.
Was it the same character that Das Malchian played in the new one?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
yes.
That's, as soon as you said that, I was like, it has to be that character, right?
Yeah. That's Dourif in Lynch's Dune, and he's over the top. He's at an 11 in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Everybody in the Harkonnen camp in that movie is at an 11, except for Sting, who is at a cool Sting level the whole time.
I don't think I've ever seen Dourif in anything and been like, he's not pulling his weight.
Yeah, when you said that, I'm like, is Brad Dourif like go like below 11?
I've
He's
seen
at an
him below
11.
11.
He's got an 11 in Urban Legend, and he's in it for like a minute.
That's true. Same with the American remake of Pulse, which is a terrible movie, except for the 4 minutes that Brad Dourif is in it.
It was the only part of the Halloween remakes I liked.
Fair.
No.
Brad Dourif, get in Star Wars. Someone make this happen. He doesn't have long on this world.
Yeah, reunite him with his Deadwood pals.
Yeah.
In Freetown.
You gotta imagine Rodriguez would
what
jump
if
at the chance
maybe
to
it's
put
the
Dourif in
next
Star Wars.
episode? They take him to the doctor in Freetown, and it's Brad Dourif.
That would be great. Yes. Dr. Brad Dourif, please. Oh, because he was the doctor in Deadwood, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
The
Travis,
old
all I've
Wasados.
seen of Deadwood is that, like, the most of the first season, or all of the first season that we watched when you lived here that year.
Yeah.
And I never finished watching Deadwood.
I have since watched through it and then watched it again. And then
It's good. It took me a few attempts, but once I finally dug in and like watched it, it was really good, worthwhile.
Cool.
Ian McShane alone is worth the price of admission. And that show's loaded with stupid good performances.
Yeah. No, I loved what I saw. I should have continued. Oh, well.
Someone else who could be in Star Wars, Jim Beaver.
Yeah. Jim Beaver would be
See Jim
great.
Beaver in this.
Ian McShane in a Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
He's dead. Powers Booth would have been great.
Oh yeah. The mustache. All right.
Moving on.
Yeah, then we get the Pikes leaving a little present for Garza Flip, and it blows up, and hopefully Max Rebo's okay.
I think Max is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be a bonehead move to kill Max Rebo for no reason.
Nobody's gonna if he does survive, nobody's gonna want to hire Max Rebo anymore, because it's gonna be like every person that hires you gets killed in some terrible explosion. Max, we can't.
You're a
do
loose
this.
cannon, Rebo. First job as sail barge, then Garza Flips Pleasure Lounge or whatever it is.
He is a totem of bad luck. What was that? What was that band? Oh, Great White. Max Rebo is the Great White of jizz music.
Great.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Travis?
No.
There's this metal band called Great White that had like unsafe pyrotechnics that they knew were unsafe that they brought with them. They burned down a club, which killed a bunch of people. And like I feel like it wasn't the only time that Great White like injured fans due to their own negligence. But I might be wrong about that. But yeah, I'm still gonna go with Max Rebo's the Great White of jizz.
Yeah, it definitely happened at least the one time, which is one time more than you wanted it to happen. So
very true.
Was that kind of an inspiration? This Great White band and Jennifer's Body with Low Shoulder. They burned down the club there.
Yes, absolutely. It probably was.
Might have been, because that was after that had happened, I think.
Totally. I think the Great White thing was like, that was early aughts, I think.
Yeah.
Jennifer's Body was 09.
We keep saying other stuff. Put Adam Brody in a Star Wars.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Adam Brody could go in a Star Wars.
Adam Brody can do whatever he wants.
True.
Stupid, handsome Adam Brody. It's also, I will say the one thing with this scene, it seemed very unclear to me why the Pikes targeted Garza Fwip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
So that's part of why I don't think she's dead, is because there's no real reason, at least not on the surface, to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but she'd have to survive that explosion. That was a pretty big explosion. Seemed
well,
pretty
she
thorough.
was paying tribute to Boba.
Oh yeah,
maybe it's just
I guess that's solid.
Yeah, she just
reasoning.
kind of went with it like immediately. She's just like, "All right, sounds good, boss."
Yeah,
and then slunk away.
Yeah, it seems weird because like the Pike sent Cad Bane to make a genuine offer to Cobb Vanth, but then they blew up a character who, from the time we've met her, has seemed like she might be in on something to begin with. So yeah, it just I can follow the logic that you're setting up there, Travis. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No.
Considering
I'm just trying to connect dots based on the dots we've been given.
Yeah. So, Jennifer Beals. It's not like she's the hugest star. I don't even know that she would have been during when she first dropped, but it does seem weird that they would bring her in only to do this to her.
Yes, it really does. So I hope that I'm wrong. I hope she's not dead.
So,
well, we will find out next week, and we will also find out what Baby Grogu chooses. If it's between Yoda's lightsaber or the tiny little chainmail shirt.
Yeah, the little mithril.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is weird because there's, a character's name in The Mandalorian called
Horatio Sands' character. Yeah. Oh yeah, who probably isn't going to be in the show ever again.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Mithril died on the way back to his planet.
Mithril and Cara Dune are going to have that show together. And...
Oh man, God! Remember how hard I marked out for her? What a sad turn of events it all was.
Yeah, what an unfortunate thing.
Star Wars.
Just take a lesson from Chris Pratt. Just keep your mouth shut, and you'll keep your job.
Yeah. Don't put him in a Star War.
No, don't put Chris Pratt in please don't put Chris Pratt in a Star War. Anywho's. Star Wars is good. Yeah. So next week we find out things. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, I hope this season finale is like an hour long. I hope we get a good chunky time.
I feel like it's gonna need to be to make up all of the non-Boba Fett related stuff that's happened in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. Hopefully. At least Black Chrysanthemum will be there, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, you will.
We'll have him. We'll have Mando. We'll have Baby Yoda.
Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, Cobb Vanth is definitely showing up next week. Max Rebo joins in, and he fights in the battle too.
He provides the soundtrack. He's back there with his jizz organ strapped around his waist.
Yeah.
Like marching band style.
Exactly.
I hope we get a scene of just like we did with the Rancor Keeper when the Rancor died, we get a scene of the ice cream dude crying outside of Garsa Fwip's about his exploded ice cream thing.
Yes, that would be great too.
The Will Row Hood.
The Will Row Hood, everybody, the cameos everybody is begging for.
So drop this.
Yes. Very good.
All right. So until next week, Dustin, where can people find more of you?
You can check out what I got going on at DustinMeadowsComedy.com, at Dustin Meadows on Twitter and Instagram. Check out my other podcast, New Metal Who Dis, on all of your podcatchers. We just dropped a new episode today about body counts, so check that out. And that's it for me.
Cool. And Alex, how about yourself?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Alex Brunel. I don't post much. Yeah.
All right. And you can find me at Travis Fishburne, the show at Who Watches Pod on Twitter. You can reach the show at whowatchespodcast@gmail.com. Please like, subscribe, leave reviews. Anywhere you're watching or listening to this, appreciate all of it. And until next week, where we finally see this guy again, pack your things. We're leaving.
Pack your things. We're leaving. Mm-hmm.